Welcome to Conversate, our podcast where we engage in conversation. On this week's episode, I, Aaron Gerke, and Kevin Bender are having a conversation about pride and humility. And as this is airing the week of Thanksgiving 2021, well, we also have, having this conversation, a discussion about how pausing and being grateful actually helps us to take stock of what we have and not become too proud, but actually find our worth and our value in the one, our God, who gives it to us. A blessed Thanksgiving to you. We hope you enjoy this conversation. Hey, Kevin.
Greetings, Aaron.
Happy Thanksgiving Eve to you.
Oh, yeah, man. Turkey week. Let's go.
Let's do it. We order a turkey custom every year. And let's just say we were a little late to the party on putting in the order for our turkey. Mm-hmm. So if it's just going to be our family, just my wife and kids and I, we usually do like a 12 or 13 pound turkey. It's a meal and then maybe a round of leftovers and call it good.
Yeah.
But we were a little bit late in getting the order in, so we got an 18 pounder come in.
Oh, baby.
So yeah, so we'll eat some turkey.
Yeah, make Ross's post-Thanksgiving sandwich every day.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like turkey. I always I grill it, so I do it on the grill, and it's a little smokified, and
there you go.
It actually turns out really good. We do a nice brine on it. I used to not be. I don't know. I'm not like a. I don't know. The turkey's got to be done right.
Mm. Well, yeah. I mean, like with most meats, if it's dry, like some meats you can still eat dry, and it's I'll get through it. Yeah. Turkey's one of those, I feel like once it's dry, it's like, oh, this is like really hard.
We're the best one. Last year we were visiting family, and our family they bought the turkey from a smokehouse or like a barbecue place. Yeah. So they just straight up smoked this turkey. Mm-hmm. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good. Actually, my daughter was just talking about it. Hazel was just talking about it the other day. She was like, that was the best turkey ever. So she's excited for turkey. So hopefully because that's what she's got in her mind.
Hopefully it delivers.
It was so good. Yeah.
I'll be down in Milwaukee area.
Yeah.
Currently, as you're listening to this, I am in Milwaukee area. And with my folks, I got a couple of siblings coming in with their significant others.
Fun.
For Thanksgiving, yeah, which will be fun. They're my dad's gonna fry. He's gonna fry the turkey.
Yeah.
That big vat.
We did that at seminary with friends.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't for Thanksgiving. It was just for fun.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Anything fried.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
Very
It'll be
cool.
fun though.
Very cool. Awesome. And this is in my family. This is festive week always because my birthday is a couple of days after Thanksgiving this year as well.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So we get to do. So last night we were at the dinner table. We were asking the kids like, what do you want for Thanksgiving? And then, I mean, they listed all the pies, all the stuff, and I was like, and then we get to have my birthday, and then we were going through all the cakes. So I mean, we're gonna be
ready,
up. Yeah.
ready to rock and roll.
Ready.
I love Thanksgiving. I will say, growing up, it rivaled Christmas to me, and maybe I liked it even a little bit more.
I think so. I mean,
it's less pressure than Christmas. That's what I like about it. I'm kind of a low-key guy. Yeah. The holidays just eat food.
Yeah.
And maybe watch football.
And take a nap.
Yeah.
You know
what I mean? That's like, I can do those things.
I know.
So, anyways, I like Thanksgiving.
Nice. Yeah. Well, speaking of football, this week, on Sunday, my Minnesota Vikings pulled out a big old win.
Hoorah!
Over the Green
Skull.
Bay Packers. And I
watched the game actually.
Did you?
It's the only game I've watched this year.
It was a good game.
It was a good game.
I almost said something in church about it because you were preaching about pride and humility, and I was thinking about saying, like, as a humble Vikings fan, we're not used to winning all that much. Or something. I couldn't figure. I was gonna try to tie it into your sermon, but maybe we could do it here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, in all, I mean, for real though, like being a Vikings fan is a humbling experience because, like this year they've they've been winning like every game, and then they come to the end, and then they just
botch it.
Yeah. Anyways, and then the Packers. I don't even think. I mean, I was thinking about Packers fans. No offense, but they don't really know what it's like to be part of a losing team.
Well, I mean, sure.
I mean, there's something.
If you look at their history, especially.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and not that they're bad even now. Like, they still got a lot of talent on the team.
But I mean, you've got this Aaron Rodgers legacy, and before that, you got this Brett Favre legacy, and I mean,
the Lombardi legacy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so that's the crazy thing. You go to the stadium, it's like, whoa, you guys won a lot.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying my Packers, friends boast about it by any means. You're all very kind.
You're nothing like Patriots fans.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry to all you Patriots listeners. We're gonna offend all of our listeners this morning, and then see who sticks around. That was Jesus' move.
There you go. Yeah.
Whoever is not offended by me, blessed is that person.
Oh, yeah. But you did. I mean, so the sermon on Sunday was really about this kind of contrast of humility and pride, and in chapter 10 of the story, there's lots of different characters. I mean,
yeah, it was a loaded chapter.
A lot of stuff. I mean, so if you'd have to zero in on something, that theme did roll through it, and even the title of the chapter, "Standing Tall, Falling Hard," but. Right. You zeroed in especially on Hannah, and so we're in the book of 1 Samuel, right at the very beginning. Hannah being the mother of Samuel, right? What was it again? Was there a key verse or a key attribute about Hannah that really stood out to you? Because did you say that she was wrestling with pride? Or was that your takeaway?
Yeah, that was I feel like in this sermon, maybe more than most of my sermons, like, I was really intrigued by this story, but there, like when you're reading the scriptural narrative, you don't always get all the fill-in gap details, right? And you can take some, interpretive moves and fill in some details, but you got to be careful if you do that, right? Because you don't want to, like, cast something that's really counter to the way the story is talking about it in general, right? You don't want to villainize somebody if they're not really a villain. But in chapter 2, you get this prayer of Hannah, and this is what really sold it for me, why I thought she was dealing with, this concept of really self-worth or esteem.
Okay.
Or, I kept using that word pride, but basically just, how you estimate yourself.
Right.
And I think pride works in two ways. Like, if you have a lot of pride, okay, well, you're a proud person, you're boasting, whatever. If you don't have any pride, that's also not good.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to just be, like, self-deprecating. I'm worthless, I'm no good, I have no value, right? But that seems to be Hannah's struggle, because, she's this barren woman, she can't have any kids, but there's this other woman, Peninnah, who does have kids, and they're married to the same guy, so that's problematic, you know. And in the story, Hannah, she weeps bitterly about this. Finally, though, that's like the climax of the story. So, like, this has been going on for years. It says year after year this happened, that her rival spouse provoked her and belittled her, maybe, or was really pressing into this wound of her barrenness.
Right.
So it's like, it's not hard to imagine what her self-esteem, where it would be, right? Because this was an important thing in society, and something she obviously longed for. She prayed to God for it. God, give me a son. But the remarkable thing is, she gives the son away. So it's like, she wants this son for all these years, and then she gets the son and she gives it away. And but in that prayer in chapter 2, like, it's just like prayer to God of thanksgiving for what has happened, but it has less to do with, now I have a son, so I'm really happy. Like, that's not how I would summarize the prayer. It's more about she's marveling at God, hearing her, and exalting her, lifting her up. But it's less about that I didn't have a kid and now I have a kid, so now I'm happy, and more about look, our God is a rock. There's none other like him. He is the Holy One. He's the one that kills and makes alive. He's the one that brings those who are haughty or prideful low, and brings the low up. And it's kind of interesting in the story too, in chapter 1, that it doesn't just say that she was barren. It says that the Lord caused her to be barren, or the Lord, did not enable her to conceive. Something like that language.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a kind of convoluted telling of the story.
No, I mean,
really,
as you're talking, I mean, I even almost wanted to pause you too, and just when I think about our human experience, or people that I know in this world that are feeling, I don't know, marginalized, or maybe actually are, or the downtrodden or the downcast. It's I don't know, it's a sad state when there are other people who even force them down further, right? So you got, I mean, this Penina and Hannah relationship. It's like Hannah's got this thing that Penina knows she wrestles with or makes her feel insecure, and Penina just tries to just drive her down even further. And I hate when I see that in this world, when there are marginalized or downcast or downtrodden people, and others come and just suppress it even further. And I mean, that's why the message of Jesus and the Christian gospel, and what we've been called to live in, and the way we've been called to be for others in the world, like Jesus, is to exalt the lowly, to humble the proud, and to exalt the humble, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Jesus comes to do, by taking the absolute lowest place that there is, even death on a cross. He gets below, that's the Philippians 2
right.
Language, how Jesus humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. I see that as Jesus, who is God, just like doing this nosedive, way down to the lowliest of the lowly things, so that he is below kind of almost every single one of us. And then, in his victory over death, it's like he stands up and throws us all up in the air, and we're exalted and lifted up by this one who came to be less than us. And I believe that that's what our Christian calling is to be also in this world, is to come for those who are downtrodden, and not to suppress them further, but to come down near them and help to lift them up in Jesus.
Yeah,
so
definitely. Well, that was something so I quoted an article as well in the sermon from Psychology Today. It was from 2015, so I mean, a little old, not super outdated, but it warned about pride in this article, and they tried to make a distinction between pride and dignity.
Yeah, I've had that conversation with people before, because I mean, I want to hear what you were going to say, but just to interject this, I've had that conversation where where I think maybe I preached about pride as like a bad thing or whatever, or that's how it came across. And I think people kind of said to me, like, but is being proud a bad thing? I don't know. Like I'm very proud of my children.
Yeah.
Like I'm proud of my accomplishments.
Yeah, right.
Like that's not
to have a satisfaction
in
in your work.
Exactly. But it's different when there's a level of it or whatever. I think it's just it's semantics, it's an attitude or whatever. So I think the language Paul uses in the New Testament is like puffed up or boasting.
Right.
It's
a different picture.
Yeah.
And that's an important distinction to make, like when you're looking at especially biblical language, because the Bible does talk about, kind of like cutting down the proud, or God's gonna like bring down the proud. It's like, well, but what exactly is that pride that he's talking about? And but the article, from Psychology Today, it talks about that same dynamic you're speaking about, where people who have a lot of pride, who are puffed up, oftentimes. So I mean, we all carry shame of some sort, okay? But you wouldn't necessarily realize that in certain people who you see as prideful, right? You look at them and you're like, well, they don't seem to be ashamed about anything. Like they kind of come off like there's nothing wrong about them, that they have all the answers, that they're always right. This article from Psychology Today said what happens oftentimes is those people who are very puffed up will actually kind of project their shame on others. Or they'll do and say things to, like you say, cut down on those who are already low, press into their wounds, kind of like what Penina is doing to Hannah in the story, where basically it's like, it's no one in this world, and don't be fooled. And actually, I asked my 7th and 8th graders on Sunday, maybe it was 2 Sundays ago, and they kind of thought that certain people just did have everything together. And it's like, no one in your school is like walking on cloud nine. But we all kind of think that. When you look around, I think, like sometimes you're like, well, they seem to have it all together. Like they must be doing this or that or the other thing, and that's why they have it together and I don't, But it's like, no, we all got struggles and challenges and vulnerabilities.
Oh, yeah. Well, and what I've seen, and maybe it's not all the time, but generally speaking, those who are the oppressors are often very insecure.
Yes.
It actually, I believe, takes way more confidence to be humble. And the greatest way to be humble and the greatest confidence you can have is outside of yourself.
Exactly, but in the right thing.
Right, in God. So if I understand that God is God, I'm his beloved child, I'm loved by him, created by him, redeemed by him, that he's going to come again and make everything new, and and we've got all this because of who God is, then I mean, I have no problem being humble then, because he's got my back.
Exactly. That it's not like this or that thing about you that is unpraiseworthy, to yourself and to maybe to the world. That ultimately it's not going to remove you from his love.
Right.
Like when that's your source, when that's your sense of worth, there's nothing that's going to separate you, right? That's what Paul says from his love.
But it's so hard though. I mean, so hard. And I like to think I'm the most humble person that there is. Can I say that? Is that allowed?
You can. It sounds funny though.
No.
No, anyway.
I was.
There's an irony there.
Yeah,
right?
I like that statement. Like if somebody comes into a room and you're talking about humility and you're like, I'm the most humble. And you're like, I don't think that's how it works.
You just lost.
Yeah. No, but I tried. I try, and try not to have my worth determined by what other people say or think about me.
Yeah, and that's hard.
But I think in our sin, I think it's impossible to do perfectly. I mean, it just is. I mean, I think some of that is that we're designed to be in relationship with other people. So when relationships seem like out of kilter, which I think that's what that is, like when we're feeling like this unease because people feel about us a different way than we feel, or we're perceiving that they feel a certain way,
or you've done something maybe that you can like clearly identify, oh, this really ticked them off.
Yeah, so that relationship's out of sync. I think that's what we feel, and we desire that's straightened out and made right. But perfectly, that's not going to happen until Christ comes again. So there's always going to be that wrestling that we have. So.
Yeah, well, and I think like this is where, to me, it's important even to. It's hard, but important to try and take stock and be mindful of what are the things, since we all inevitably are going to find our worth somewhere. Where have I already placed it, And try and actually be mindful of that. Because we do it a lot unconsciously, I think. It's not like we walk around going, I feel good today because I worked out yesterday and it was a great workout, and I take my sense of pride from my workouts. Like we don't walk around thinking that.
Right.
But we do operate with some sense of our worth. And but it's good to be mindful, because what you don't want is for any of those things to become number one. And see, that's why I think our conversation about pride, it's okay to have pride in your work, or to be proud of your children, or take satisfaction in your relationships, or in some skill you have. Maybe you have some physical prowess, and it's like, I feel good about that. It's like God made you that way, or God has maybe helped you grow in that way. That's great. But you never want those things to be the top thing. Mm-hmm. That's when it's dangerous, right? And it's dangerous for any one of those things, even if it is your like spouse, right? Which a lot of times we would say like, well, wouldn't you want that to be like the number one thing? Actually, no, you don't. And you can't. And that's what happens in the even in Hannah's story with Elkanah. Elkanah's trying to say, just find your self-worth in me.
Yeah.
Find it in my love. But human love is inconsistent.
Yeah.
And if you find your entire self-worth on the love of your life, well, if they ever do anything that questions their love for you, you're going to think, oh, I guess I'm not valuable. They don't love me. You're either going to make it impossible for them to keep up, or it's just not going to work out well. But you always want God to be the top thing, and that's how we're built. Like God has built us to worship Him, to praise Him, to find our identity in Him.
Yeah, and you'll actually be a better. It sounds weird, but a better lover, like a better one who gives love. If you're talking to a spouse, you will be better at that when you're receiving love from the one who gives it perfectly. Mm-hmm. 1 John says we love because He first loved us.
Right.
So it's that simple. So.
And that's why I think it's funny that this is Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that as you were saying, like take stock of who we are. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, because basically like that the gratitude dynamic is something that it helps work against our pride, for one. You can't really be thankful. Well, I guess you could be thankful in like who's the Pharisee and the publican or whatever, the guy who's like, thank you God for making me so awesome, not like this loser over here,
Yeah.
So I guess you can have like that fault. That's like not really gratitude. I don't even know what you'd call that. Pride, I guess.
Arrogance.
But gratitude or thanksgiving basically says, I don't deserve this, but I have it. I didn't earn it or get it, myself. Otherwise, I wouldn't really be thanking anyone. I'd be thanking me. I'd be saying, hey, everybody, you better thank me for this nice meal that we had because I'm the one that made it happen. Yeah. That's not gratitude, But so Thanksgiving and gratitude kind of exists almost in opposition to pride. But either relationships in life are transactional. So like you do this for me, I'll do this for you. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back.
I love back scratches.
Go on. Yeah. Or, see, that's kind of the dynamic things we'll always have, unless there's someone who is giving in a way that doesn't ask for a return. Mm-hmm. And so God does that. Yeah. Like we love because God first loved us, right? We didn't earn His love. He just gave it to us. We didn't deserve His love. Yeah. He just floated onto us. He filled our cups up. And now, like you're saying, when your cup is full, it can flow out to others. Yeah. You become a better lover because you don't love someone and then immediately say, all right, what are you going to do for me now?
Right.
Right. But it's actually it's just something that can just flow out.
For sure. I don't know if you have any traditions in the family about giving thanks, but last year we were together with a larger group of family, and my brother was there, and he said that he and his wife and kids have started this as a tradition. So we did it kind of as a large group, but on the dinner table they rolled out a large kind of piece of paper, and then everybody had crayons and colored pencils and stuff, and basically it just became this whole mural of pictures and words of things that we're thankful for. Very simple idea, but it was really a cool experience, and to watch my children and see what it was that they were thankful for. I honestly don't remember what they wrote, but I think that's something. I think that's something that we have to teach to children and to teach to people, is this being grateful. Because unfortunately, in our sin and in that kind of selfish nature that we have, and I unfortunately see it, in my children a lot. But they I don't know, they go back and forth. They're super grateful and generous, but then super self-centered at the same time, you know. So
Saint and sinner.
yeah,
you
exactly.
might say.
I mean, it's right. It's right there. Like they're incredibly generous. I mean, Max offers me all of his money, you know, to be able to, like, I don't know. I forget what it was. There's something that he wanted to do or whatever, and I was like, we don't have the money to do that or whatever. He's like, you can have all my money, you know. And I'm like, thanks, buddy, but you know, $12 is not gonna
put us over the top.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's that air of like, whatever, you can, you know, I want to help. And yeah, hey, I think to wrap this up, this has been a great conversation, but we should do a pop quiz sharing here. Ooh. It's not a quiz, just sharing. Kevin?
Yeah.
Favorite Thanksgiving food?
Stuffing.
Well, okay. And I was going to say, don't do dessert yet, so we'll do desserts separate.
All right, good.
All right. So stuffing.
Yeah, man, it's delicious.
I'm actually with you on that one. Cheers.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. I will add. I guess this one toes the line. I consider Jell-O not to be dessert.
Okay.
At least the way that I was growing up. So, if we were talking to younger Aaron, it wouldn't have been stuffing. It would have been my grandma Vi's Jell-O. So she made this. I think it was strawberry Jell-O, but it had pineapple chunks in it, and there was a layer. I don't know. Somebody watching this probably knows how to make this thing. If you're hearing this, don't make it for me. This is the point. But my grandma died a couple of years ago, nine-ish years ago, and because we would always have Thanksgiving and grandma would come and stuff, and she'd make it and knew that I loved it, and like I don't know if people knew that I loved it, but they like wouldn't eat it, and then there was always tons left over, and I would just I basically, it was like grandma's gift to me. So the year after that she died, my mom tried to make it, and I think it probably was the exact same recipe, but it just wasn't the same. And I was like, you know what? Let's just be done with. So I said, no more grandma's Jell-O. Like in my mind, it's like, it's a wonderful memory. I can still taste it. But anyways, but now stuffing. Okay. Dessert, Kevin.
So for the longest time, I just said pumpkin pie. Right? Pretty classic. I love pumpkin pie. But then one year I had, what do you call it? It's like a sweet potato. Is it sweet potato? Butternut squash with like cinnamon and like sugar. Yeah, but not sweet potato.
But it's in a pie form?
It's kind of just like, it looks like mashed potatoes almost, but it's sweet.
You eat it as a dessert though? Or does it come with the meal?
I don't know. It's right in between. Maybe it's like in the Jell-O category.
Yeah. All right. Well, so
pumpkin pie.
All right, pumpkin pie with whipped cream or ice cream.
Oh, definitely whipped cream.
Yeah. I would have. Back in the day, I would go with apple pie, but now, and I would have never touched pecan pie.
Oh yeah.
Like as a kid, I was like, nuts.
That's
gross. But now, it's the chocolate pecan pie.
Ooh, I have not had that. I've had a bourbon pecan pie, which was
I've had chocolate bourbon pecan.
Oh my gosh, decadent, man.
So much sugar.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, that's enough.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, friends.
Yeah, enjoy Thanksgiving. Stay humble. Humble yourself daily before the Lord.
And He will lift you up.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, as always, buddy. Cheers and happy Thanksgiving.
Likewise.